talking about parental controls or, moderate kind of thoughts. I'm talking about directing their actual behavior and thinking and doing it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because these people practice domestic violence for their entire lives. They don't know how to have a real relationship. And at the bottom triangle on one side, I want you to write denial. Because these people are in denial that their conduct is bad or that it is wrong to injure or dominate another person. And this is women too. And at the other end is acceptance of abuse, which means that these people on this triangle, that's what their heads look like to me, is entitlement, denial, and acceptance of abuse, which means that they will do anything they need to do in order to get control and submission of the victim. Now, inside of this triangle is power and control. That's their objective. They want power in the relationship, they want control of the victim, and submission. So those are what they do. In order to do that, they do this over and over again. Some of these people who are lifelong abusers never have a normal relationship. And they lose the two things that they wanted all their life: love and respect. You can't love somebody who's beating you or some other member of the family up, and you can't trust them, and you don't respect them. So these people are miserable, okay? And they stay miserable until people leave. Too dry in here. Okay, so those kind of people, if we see them, they like shine. When they come into the courtroom, they shine. And we know them, and boy, do we take care of them. Okay, but that's not who we're talking about today. Now, I'm going to switch gears again because I got the 5-minute rule. And I'm going to go very quickly through something that is my personal peeve. I did child abuse for 6 years. I represented abused children. And I'm not a domestic violence advocate. I'm a child abuse advocate, okay? That's who I am. I worry about the kids in the family because they don't have a say in the outcome. And in this segment, we have actually saved people's lives because we have had people come up to our counselors and say, hey, you know, I'm back from Iraq and I'm having really a tough time adjusting, and I have a new baby in the house, and you know, he's crying all the time, and I can't deal with it, and I'm shaking them. Do not shake an infant. The main cause of death for children under 5 is a shaking trauma. It's just you pick them up because you're tired of the crying. You can't stand it anymore. They just, you know, they've got colic. They're wet. Whatever's going on, and they're crying. I'd be driven nuts. Okay. I mean, I have dogs because I'd kill a kid. Okay. So you know, and I'm not smart enough to walk out. Okay. So they're crying incessantly, and because you don't want to hurt the child, you don't hit it. You pick it up and you shake it. Well, when you do that, it's a concussion injury, just like an IED concussion injury. Your head is going one way and your brain is going the other. And so your brain sloshes around inside, and it causes all kinds of damage. Most of these children die because they have intracranial bleeding. And the bleeding that they suffer is in the frontal lobes, which is where personality and, you know, the ability, judgment, and all of the things that make us us is. And then in the back of the head where you have your vision. So if they live, I represented quite a few babies who were blind and retarded. They became brain damaged in the incident. Now, most of these babies are boys. Boys suffer this kind of violence more than girl babies do. So if you have a young child in the house and you're not used to it, and you're trying to adjust, and you know, you're sitting around having a couple of beers and just relaxing, and the baby won't stop crying, what do? You get out. You call somebody, the next door neighbor, your mother, your aunt. If your girlfriend or the mother isn't in the house, you get out of that house. And check to see the baby's okay, but leave, you know, Because if you stay there and you do something rash, it's a second-degree murder charge. And what happens is the baby's neck severs in the back where the spinal cord is, and they stop breathing. And so it is very easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of force. The main excuse is that we hear in the courts is they fell off the couch and onto a carpeted floor. You cannot do that injury that way. We know immediately it's a lie. In order to have that serious an injury on an infant, you'd have to drop them from about 20 feet. And so since nobody cops to throwing them out the window, it is, we know for sure what kind of an injury is because we have certain signature profile injuries. We have bleeding in the eyes, we have suppressed breathing and all kinds of things. I'm going to give you a list of what to look for. And you know how it works with the brain sloshing around there. Let me get back here because I actually have a much longer presentation that I just want to get to the end. But don't ever shake a child. Don't, you know, I cringe because I did this work for so long and saw so many children who were injured. When I see fathers with the kid on the shoulder, you know, they don't have a good grasp of that child. That's a big drop. You can cause a serious injury, especially if the child is very small. Don't put them on your motorcycle, for Christ's sake, okay? I had guys who were driving around with a 4-month-old on their motorcycle. I mean, what are they thinking? And it's a 100% preventable injury, 100%. You just don't do it, and you don't let anybody else do it. And if you see somebody doing it, you stop them because the child can't, and the child needs somebody to speak for them. So here's what you're going to see if a child is suffering from a head injury: irritability, vomiting, difficulty breathing, rigidity, kid straightens up and, you know, is like a rock, seizures, unconsciousness, unequal pupil size, the inability to focus the eyes or track movement, poor sucking or swallowing mechanisms, decreased appetite, and inability to lift the head. You're not going to see all of them, but you may see several of them. That child needs to go to the emergency room immediately because the blood can be drained from inside of the skull, and if the child gets there soon enough and there's no spinal cord injury, then any damage that was done can be mitigated. So it's a treatable injury if it's discovered early, and it's preventable if you are intelligent about handling a child. And I mean, you know, you can't do that to a puppy. So I would kill you if you did it to a puppy. So, you know, it is important to understand that children bend, but they also break, and this is one way to break a child. And we had a case in San Diego, young Marine, shook his baby, it died. He's doing 15 to life for second-degree murder. So in an instant, you can lose your life, your career, your family, and it's a tragedy beyond comprehension because there's no intent to hurt, okay? This is just a matter of intelligence. You don't want to hurt the child, you just want it to be quiet. Step beyond that feeling, get out of there, get help immediately.